With that one, we're back again. This is a Fantastic Friday production of Radio Free Canada. I'm Darin Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
Hang on, because we're going to be doing some positive stuff today, but to get everything out of the way right away this morning, we are going to say that everything we're doing is protected under Section 2 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
And we are using media protected under international fair use copyright laws.
Everything that we've got to say is our opinion and our opinion alone. Please do not jump off of a bridge because of what we say. And as usual, if you are an in-the-box thinker...
If you think waging aggressive war is a good foreign policy...
Wow. If you think that McDonald's is a restaurant because they're supplying food to the Olympics...
If you think... The CHBC brings you the news.
Then stop listening now. Please stop listening. Don't get on our website and say that we suck. We realize you think we suck. This is Red Pill Radio. It's coming at you from Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. And for Friday, July the 6th, 2012, we are off and running. We're going to be talking about solutions. We're going to be talking about the positive things. We're going to be talking about everything that corporate media refuses to talk about. We have no idea why journalism died in Canadian news. We're here to revive it by bringing you the other side of the story and a reason to celebrate all weekend long as if you need one. It's Canada, baby.
Yes, there's been a recent shuffle in our cabinet in the Parliament.
Yes, there's been a shuffle. There's been an exit. There's been a big vacant spot. A great big sucking sound has occurred in Ottawa. This week, we say goodbye to Bev Oda. Farewell.
Yes, the position of Minister of International Trade and Relations will have to be filled by another non-person.
Yes. We need another corporate shill to step into the Harper government right now. Bev Oda has resigned, and we are celebrating with that. But what it is talking about pensions that these guys get, how our politicians are paid off, how they make too much money. And you know what? We're presenting media. Let's get to it.
Something fascinating happened this past week. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation attacked members of Parliament saying their pensions were platinum-plated. And then, among the political pundits, the people who are paid to disagree with one another, peace broke out. They all agreed, slash those pensions. Now, I understand the sentiment. When I heard that Pierre Poilievre, Stephen Harper's favorite MP of all time, qualified for a full pension at 31, I was physically ill. But we have to ask ourselves, why did he qualify for a full pension at 31? Well, for starters, he got elected straight out of school. He never accomplished anything of any note. That's the type of person that's getting elected. People who have done nothing but are experts in everything. We avoid those people like the plague in real life, but for some reason, the House of Commons is crawling with them. So let's just forget pensions. I want better MPs. I want the best and the brightest that Canada has to offer. And boy, is that not happening. And why? Well, the fact is, if you're mid-career with a family, leaving both behind and taking off to Ottawa for 6 or 7 years is not good for either of them. There's a very good chance at the end of the day, both will be seriously damaged. And are we going to fix this problem and attract better MPs by making the job less desirable? No, we go down that road, for every Pierre Poilievre, there'll be 10 more just like him. Now, don't get me wrong, I like beating up a lousy MP as much as the next guy. But when we get a good MP, they aren't just worth their pension, they're worth their weight in gold. All the parties have them, but they are few and far between. So what say, when it comes to MPs, instead of all of us piling on and lowering the bar, let's aim high for a change.
Rick Mercer starting things off. It is an excellent way to start off a Friday, let me tell you.
Canada's answer to Jon Stewart in the Daily Report.
Yes, absolutely. And we got to make sure that you get an rmr.com or whatever it is, .ca. Rick Mercer, find him, support him, tell him that, yes, we are here, we're listening, because we're listening to what he has to say. We're kind of cut of the same cloth, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say we're out there?
I'd say we're a wee bit sarcastic of our federal government.
We do make fun of our Decepticonist leader all the time. Coming up on Monday, Mock Harper Monday is going to be put off just by a little bit. We're going to be running quicker shows throughout the summer while they're sloughing off and go off on summer break. I don't know. They get like 6 months off for summer break. I don't know what's going on.
Don't forget that Mr. Stephen Harper is in Calgary right now attending the Calgary Stampede.
Yeah, 100 years of animal abuse occurring right now and being celebrated. Just go and watch them roping a cow, something that, of course, Harper enjoys doing with all of the scientists. We are going to be talking about how they tie up and put duct tape over scientists' mouths in Ottawa today. We're also going to be talking about some really awesome stories. We're going to talk about a pharmaceutical company that's getting their butts handed to them.
The largest fraud settlement in U.S. history.
Yes. A big pharma getting their butts handed to them? Say it's not so, but it is. Coming up, Barclays, the news, the bank, their CEOs are getting fired or kicked out or quitting, or they're running with their butts on fire. It's awesome. And then we're going to be talking about how ecocide
is being introduced as the fifth crime against world peace.
This is an awesome way to have your Friday unfold before you. Remember, you're part of the change. We're part of it too. We're just part of the chorus that's out there, encouraging you to get a sign to stand in the streets peacefully, make a great big noise, but take things in your own hands because we've got to do it.
Write your editor, write your MP, make your voice heard. Let people know that you're not happy with the way things are being run.
Yes, because we are not happy with the way things are being run. There are logical solutions. We can crowdsource our constitution just like Iceland. We can throw our prime minister in jail just like Iceland. And we're going to be talking about all of those really cool solutions. That is the perfect beginning to another perfect show right here.
And I think it's almost time for us to take our first commercial break.
You know it. We're going to do things. We're going to be taking a real quick break here. Couple minutes, we're going to come back, okay? Just for those, we're not taking the long format anymore for anybody on the network paying attention. We're going to be back in about 2 minutes, and we're going to talk about bankers. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic Friday. I'm Darin Howard.
I'm Robert Nisbet, Radio Free Canada.
Awesome Friday. I cannot believe it's so cool today. It's such a Friday today.
Oh, it's a beautiful July the 9th.
We got to say a big hi to everybody out there right now. D. Earl Keegan, thank you very much for bringing the awesome post. Michael Alk on Facebook. It's a really cool thing.
David Jones Cook, Lynn Nichols, Robbie DeMarco.
You know it. Scott Logan, getting on there. He's starting to bring us more and more stuff. We're getting more and more people on there. I do say Lynn Nichols all the time because WTPN and the guys who are working at WTPN are really working the problem.
That they are.
I mean, I like what I see there on their media, their Liberty Hour that's coming up. They're talking about some really big issues. They started talking about suing the Pope. Okay.
But they're also including the Harper government, the Church of Canada.
Yes, little things like that. Maybe a little bit of accountability should happen there. Thanks a lot. Definitely a big shout out to Michael for giving us one of the best streams coming up here on Thursday. And Bill Nietzsche, too, giving us an awesome stream. There's a whole bunch of, when we talk about streams, we talk about big lists of alternative news stories from around the world.
Yes.
And that's what we want to see. We want to see people get on there and create great big long lists of alternative news stories because you know what's happening. Major news is ignoring it.
Well, major news doesn't want to ignore it. They are controlled by corporate powers that be.
Gee whiz. Say it's not so. It's not like it's a conspiracy theory or anything like that. You remember the Black Press Group released a memo saying we will not hear good stories about Native Indian treaties. And they stuck to that, okay? That happened right here in town. It was reported on the Capital News. A guy wrote a report about it. That's the reason why we've got Radio Free Canada. That's why we celebrate people like WTBN and, Michael and Roger and all those guys for doing an awesome job on the internet. Because, with Black Press Group saying that,
exactly.
we got to do something, man.
And Mr. Jones down in Houston, Texas, Alex Jones.
Oh, man, he does a lot of major stuff down there. And don't worry about what major news has to say about all these alternative news sources. Democracy Now!, awesome news. Al Jazeera English giving another side of the story. Russia Today, 300 million hits for Russia Today, 3 million hits for CNN.
Yeah, there's a bit of a information gap there, you think?
I wonder which word is getting out. Oh, the truth is getting out. And that's why we're here. We're talking about banks on fire. We promised you happy stories today. Not only do we have Big Pharma getting their butt handed to them, and we're going to be talking about high-density farming coming up later, but bankers on fire. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Look up fractional reserve lending, okay? Because I want you to look that up because nobody knows banks make money up from nowhere and then they pay economists to talk about how they're doing such a good job or bad job.
And then when they're caught rigging their scam.
So Barclays got caught rigging their own game. In London, the center of financial fractional reserve control has been caught with its bionic hand in the bionic cookie jar.
Yes, in the London offered rate exchange.
So they basically lied about what rates they were getting. That's like talking to your neighbor and you're going, I got my mortgage on my house and I only got it for 6%. Your neighbor goes, wow, I'm paying 13%. No, I got one on 6, and it turns out they were paying 15 or whatever. Okay, that's the analogy that I'm using. What's the clip? Where'd you get this?
Oh, this is from Financial Times, I believe.
Okay, all right.
Two senior executives from Barclays, one of Britain's biggest banks, have become the latest casualties from the rates-fixing scandal. Barclays was earlier fined nearly $500 million for manipulating interest rates. Britain's Serious Fraud Office is looking at whether there will be criminal prosecutions. Europe correspondent Philip Williams reports.
Bob Diamond, the cutting-edge architect of a much more aggressive British banking model. Now a part of a sorry chapter in banking history, nudged out of the job by the Bank of England, and it seems few are sad he's gone.
Bob Diamond's made the right decision for Barclays, also the right decision for the country, because we need our banks focused on lending to the economy, not on the scandals of the past.
The Chief Operating Officer, Jerry Del Mezio, has also stepped down after the LIBOR rate scandal, which cost the bank $450 million in fines and sparked a parliamentary investigation.
This is about much more than one individual. It's about the culture and practices of the banking industry. That's why we need a full judge-led independent inquiry.
But Barclays chairman Marcus Agius, who's already announced his resignation, says the whole bank shouldn't be condemned because of the actions of a few.
Bad behaviour was limited to a small handful of people, and I'm appalled by what happened, and I couldn't be anything otherwise. But was it symptomatic of the rest of the bank? No, absolutely not.
But convincing a bank scandal-weary public that this was just a case of a few rotten apples may not work. Either way, there is a monumental rebuilding task ahead.
I think it's very hard this morning not to look at the brand and think it has sustained quite a nasty hit. I'd hope that it's not anything that's irredeemable.
The now former chief executive, Bob Diamond, may struggle to rebuild his career. The glory days at Barclays certainly behind him, but no doubt his departure padded by millions of dollars. Philip Williams, ABC News, London.
So it's a Canadian CEO, is that right?
No, Chief Operating Officer.
COO is a Canadian at Barclays, the number one bank in Britain. They're like the Royal Bank in Canada.
And it seems the Bank of England urged them to adjust these rates.
Yeah, so the bank, that's like our Bank of Canada telling the Royal Bank to lie about your numbers so you look better.
To attract investors.
To London, who they have no money. They're so far in debt with the fractional reserve thing. It's insane. It's crazy to think that the banks can bail anybody out. Okay, because there's no money to start with.
Yeah, it's not real money.
It's not. It's all just made up out of nowhere. It's the number one story that nobody ever talks about in major news. So when you see Lang and O'Leary, when you see anybody say, we're going to talk about the economy, it should start with the words, banks make money up out of nowhere. This is how they messed up this time.
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to pay it off, imaginary funds. We're going to pay off imaginary debts.
See, what was funny about that is the regulators are talking about perhaps bringing criminal charges. Mm-hmm. This is not a scandal. This is a crime. This is corruption at the highest level, and heads should roll.
Yes, people should be going to jail. But just like police brutality, just like GMOs in the environment, okay, these guys get caught messing up large. And then they get a little fine, a little slap on the wrist, and it's like, oh, go off on your corporate world. However, no, we're not going to be putting up with that.
Well, we have an amusing little clip
I know. Let's run
from Mark Fiore that kind of explains the situation.
So let's run this just to smile on Friday.
In this country of ours, so proud, strong, and free, we did things and made things the whole world could see. But times they have changed. Now we needn't get dirty, since Wall Street makes things so many find purty. It's all different now, thanks to the banker's ascendance, inventing new paper contraptions. For I finished this sentence. We'll package and bundle and wager and bet. What's good for the street will be good for you yet. And if things should go wrong and our faces turn pale, our most favorite part is, we're too big to fail. Now cabbies and pickers will pick up the slack. Your taxes will bring the bankers right back to the top, where we keep spreading good news of deregulation and our free market views. We know what we're doing. Just stop with the rules. With our proven track record, see? Regulations for fools. Now we're buying both sides to do our good bidding. That whole democracy thing, surely you're kidding. With money, our speech, the whole world's our play. To make sure we win either way.
And that's the way it works. It's the truth.
The game is rigged.
The game is rigged. You are not invited to the big table, and most people will not talk about CHBC AM 1150, will not talk about the fact the Royal Bank makes money up out of nowhere, and we pay for it in the long run. That's coming up on our special segment offers coming up in the next couple of months. We step things up. Radio Free Canada. We're going to take a quick break. 2 minutes right now, yes?
And we'll come back and talk about Big Pharma.
Big Pharma, under the sights.
mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker. Don't you mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker.
Music right there, Heartbreaker. You know it's Pat Benatar off the Vinyl Vault right here, Radio Free Canada. I am Darin Howard.
And I am Robert Nisbet.
You know, it's lots of fun bringing this around, but we do urge you, don't take us too seriously. Get your own radio station together. Make sure you start getting out there, broadcasting, produce your own newsletter, because you're going to make the change, not us. We're just joining the chorus. That's it. You're more important than we are.
Also got to say, don't take our word for anything.
Yeah.
Do your own research.
Well, see, we're not going to come on and say we're the news authority or that you can trust us or anything. We want you to get onto the internet and get the information for yourself. However, we've done a fair amount of research. We siphon through all the Justin Bieber that there is out there, all this royal worshiping. We get rid of all that nonsense and we get into the real stories. So if you're going to catch us, man, get on there. And if you're catching us, catch us.
Please do.
You know, because we want to hear how we make mistakes and how we can make things better. We are not going to put on stories that, you know, big things. Dun, dun, dun. We are the rulers of the news universe. Trust us.
We are not the most trusted name in news.
No. So for our 10s and 12s of listeners out there, we're just assuring you, sorry, no ego here, and we do not need people to tell us in cool voices how cool we are.
And I don't think we're fair and balanced like Fox News claims as well.
We're just about as fair and balanced as Fox News. That's fighting words in the journalism world, okay?
Yeah.
But we are going to be covering some big stories locally. We just started on a story about the budget getting hacked in our local youth program with the Indian Friendship Center. This is a horrendous story, okay? And it's really starting to get out of control. Okay.
It is. They're just making cuts here, there, everywhere they can. Meanwhile, they're giving tax cuts to big corporations.
So remember, you have to raise $500 yourself extra this year just to pay for Stephen Harper's tax cuts. And that's one of those amazingly cool stories. I'm so happy I have to make $500 more for corporations. I mean, you know, these big oil companies, they need those subsidies.
Yes,
God.
they do. They must make more profits.
Yeah. Okay. They need it. But we'll be talking more about and mocking them openly later on. Same with Monsanto. But this is awesome. If you're looking for a solution.
Yes, here we go.
I'm Dr. Moley. I'm a doctor and I give people pills. If you're suffering from lumbago, plantar's warts, or pregnancy, my assortment of pills can help cure you of your ailments. If you're depressed, I can help. If you have feelings of hopelessness, sadness, I want to jump off of a bridge and hit the water and die, then I can help you with my wide assortment of delicious pills coming in all sorts of sizes and colors. They're like the rainbow itself. If you come into my office this week, I'll make you happy with these big pills back here. Look at these things. These suckers will get you happy in no time. If you're fat, you know already people don't like you. So the solution isn't more exercise and a better diet. It's more pills. It's always been more pills. Pills to make you less fat. And come in on Tuesday for my Dr. Moley all-you-can-eat buffet. If you're an athlete, you know how your performance on the field could ruin the rest of your life if you suck. So, if you're a weak tit, or a panty waist, or a Peabody, you need pills to make sure you don't suck at sports. These pills here are Barry Bonds' favorite pills, and I have them in copious quantities. Call me today to schedule your free consultation, and I'll give you a free bottle of pills just for coming in. And bring the kids, too. We've got pills for them as well. Call 555-PILLS. That's 555-PILLS today. I'm going to have one myself right now.
That was a little bit of a clip that we got about fat, depressed, and you know what? It's kind of interesting because what he's talking about there is for real. Popping pills, okay, this is a huge thing. What was it? 300,000 people died from prescription pills, and none died from marijuana at all.
Zero, yes. As a matter of fact, more people die from prescription drug adverse reactions than do from all illegal drugs combined.
And when you bring solutions to doctors, they're really open to them for not taking pharmaceuticals now. And I found that out. A lot of people that I'm out there talking about medical issues with, fibromyalgia, serious issues, chronic pain issues. You bring a natural solution to a doctor. It used to be you were a tree hugger and you're a wacko. Now they're open to these things, and they actually go online. They look them up. I've had several doctors go online in the office and look stuff up.
Really?
It's really cool. And that's the Canadian doctors for you, actually got their eyes open, right? But in the States...
it's a completely different thing.
Oh, man. GlaxoSmithKline, right? Is that the name of the big company? The super big pharma?
Super big pharma company.
Listen to this clip. This is going to blow you away.
A giant drug maker who authorities say broke the law by bribing doctors across this country with Hawaiian vacations, tickets to Madonna. And why? They wanted those doctors to sell your family their drugs, and many did. Tonight, Pierre Thomas with the video that authorities say shows for the drug maker and its sales team, it was all about the money. It was all about the money.
No, these aren't entertainers. They're senior executives with pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline, pep rally in Las Vegas for their sales team.
Who wants to be a millionaire? Who wants to be a millionaire?
The goal to rev up sales as part of what prosecutors say was a culture of greed, where patient safety took a backseat to profit.
You do the math. There are people in this room who are going to make an ungodly sum of money.
The company apparently spared no expense to entice doctors.
GSK Salesforce bribed physicians to prescribe GSK products.
Bribes to include lavish trips to Hawaii, pheasant hunts in Europe, tickets to Madonna concert. The government claims GSK engaged in an illegal marketing campaign where drugs were promoted for disorders where there was no medical evidence they would help. Allegations of promoting the drug Paxil for treating depression in patients under 18, even though the FDA has never approved it for kids. This was done despite the fact the company had evidence the drug could spark suicidal thoughts in young people. Marketing the drug Wellbutrin as a prescription to help lose weight and treat sexual dysfunction, despite never being approved for that. Aggressively promoting the diabetes drug Advandia, failing to disclose to the FDA studies suggesting it might cause heart failure and heart attacks.
There's no question that as a result of the safety data for Advandia not being offered to the FDA or to the physicians who prescribe the drug, patients had heart attacks, and patients died.
Company officials agreed to pay $3 billion in the biggest healthcare fraud settlement in U.S. history. They said mistakes had been made and that procedures had been changed. But critics said it's too little, too late, David. It's too little, too late, David.
And yeah, too little, too late.
And $3 billion is just a tiny, tiny drop in the bucket for a huge corporation like that.
It's amazing. They just get a slap on the wrist. They should get shut down. It's as simple as that. They're making huge money. We're going to take a quick break. Be back in about 2 minutes. Talk a little bit more about Big Pharma. Make sure you send in your suggestions to Facebook at Radio Free Canada. Radio Free Canada. Music just, you know what? That's one of those happy Juice Newton songs, right? You know?
That is a happy song. And I didn't eat pills to make me happy.
Just remember, good diet, eating lots of food and getting lots of exercise. Forget about Chatelaine. Forget about Cosmo. Just get lots of exercise and fresh air, and you will glow, radiate, and have a reason to dance around on Friday just like us.
Yes, I don't think you need Wellbutrin to make you happy, skinny, and turned on.
I know.
That's what the doctors were told to promote it as a use for it. Wellbutrin is an antidepressant.
And it'll make you happy, skinny, and
ramp up your sex drive, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Fresh air. And if you literally, if you want to lose weight and you really want to get in shape, but you've got a long-term mentality, the only thing that you have to do is get 2 hours of physical activity every day for about a year, and then ramp that up to 4 hours a day every day for a year after that. You will drop probably all of that excess fat. Okay, you're still going to keep a layer of fat on you because you need that regardless of what Cosmo has to say, and you will feel so good. And you want to not talk about sex life? Woo-hoo, okay?
Just stop drinking soda pop.
Oh, my gosh.
Stop drinking
soda
a fizzy,
pop
sweet drink.
Is horrendous. Darin Howard here with you. Reasons to smile with Radio Free Canada and Fantastic Friday as we count down the solutions and the reasons why we're smiling out of common news. We've gotten rid of all of the worshiping of royalty on corporate news, and we've distilled it down to a couple really cool clips. And today, we've talked about Big Pharma getting their butts handed to them, big banks getting their butt handed to them.
Yes, indeed.
Harp Oda. Oh, Bev Oda on the way out.
Bye, Bev. Hello, Mr. Fantino. Our associate member of defense is going to be filling in for Bev. And, of course, Mr. Harper thanked Bev for years of service, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, Mr. Harper thanked Bev Oda for years of service.
Yes.
Way to go. Thank you for another death nail in democracy and not charging her, to ripping away her pension or saying you're just corrupt and get rid of you. But at any rate, accountability is not what Stephen Harper's government about. That's what we are. The accountability for GlaxoSmithKline was in the tune of $3 billion paid out for Vietnam.
The largest fraud case settlement in U.S. history. For pharmaceutical giants.
But we've got lots more reasons to smile than that. Let's read this clip just to
Some think green energy is the answer. Yet this green power comes at a terrible price. Every year, hundreds of thousands are horribly burned by the sun's rays. And with every spring, wind brings sickness and fever to millions. From a deadly ball of hydrogen burning dangerously hot at 1 trillion degrees to the airborne fever delivery system called wind, green energy is far from safe. Yet there is a better way. It's called clean coal.
Hi there, I'm Cole McClean, here to show you coal is clean. Thanks to our super smart panel of coalologists, we now know coal is clean. Just look under this carbon scanning cleanscopic scope and you'll see why. There are hundreds of cajillions of deacidification molecules formed into subterranean clean colonies of coalicious goodness, which means dirty is clean. As the tiny clean colonies go about their appointed chores, like scrubbing soot, vacuuming the colony, and planting tiny bubblegum gardens. The energy of the clean colonies is then transferred to the deacidification molecules on the surface of the coal, where our clean coal technology captures energy for you. Now that you know the science that proves coal is clean, next time I'll tell you all about what you can do with clean coal. Until then, just remember, coal is clean. See you soon. See you soon.
it's one of those things. Fiore.com is where you got to get on for some really good grins, okay? And we're saying make sure you get a hold of these guys. Support the supporters of Fiore.com.
Oh, he's always current. He's always right on the money, too.
You know, and these guys like Rick Mercer and those guys need your support. We need your support, too. So remember, if you're a rich billionaire listening to us right now, feel free to send us a 747 filled with gold. We'll put it to good use. But one of the things that we're talking about good use, ecocide.
We got to talk about Rio Plus 20.
Okay, Rio Plus 20.
Which is a gathering that's been overshadowed by things like the G20 recently, the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership talks that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Rio Plus 20 is economic or ecological conference they run down in Rio.
Okay.
And what it is, they talk about possible solutions to the problem. And the only thing that's being proposed that may actually work to solve some of these problems is proposing ecocide as the 5th crime against humanity.
Okay, ecocide is the 5th crime against humanity. Okay, so let's run this clip and let's take a listen to exactly what happened down there. And we'll talk about why it's a good reason.
Warm Pacific greetings to you all. My name is Simon Matafai. I'm a firm believer that it is a crime. Ecocide is definitely a crime like genocide and every other crime.
And I fully support the notion that we need to have a law that stops people from violating the environment.
I've seen what you've done with the court case that you put on, and I just thought that was fantastic. I'd love to figure out a way to do it in Canada.
I think in order for us to coexist, we have to start realizing that we're part of an organic system.
People can know how to use energy with sun, wind, and biomass, so we can go beyond the oil, so we can go beyond the fossil fuel.
What we need to do, I think, is, as you have rightly done in your campaign, to focus on those parts of the environment that humankind is directly damaging.
How can we have sustainable development if we're destroying our environment? So if you can make it illegal, that would be great.
It just makes sense. And for us, as we do's work, what we've always tried to say was that there can be no sustainable development without gender equality. There can be no push for women's rights without understanding the effect of this, genocide that we're doing to the environment. And so calling it ecocide is exactly what it should be called.
We need to address this. We need to. It's a matter of urgency, but I think these world leaders think that they just want to come and travel and just experience other cultures through these talks, but there's enough talk.
So it's very clear to the civil society and indigenous groups here that the governments are really not seeking solutions to the world's problems.
Just blah, 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 just bullshit, and now we need action. The earth needs action.
I'm not depressed with the text, because I didn't come here for a text. I came here for solidarity. Life is not a document. It is the life of our rivers and our seas. Green is not the color of money. It is the color of life. No amount of manipulated text, no amount of hijacked governments, no amount of stealing of our democracy is going to stop us from creating this new freedom movement for the earth and for humanity.
Brilliant speaker, and you've got to listen to her. We're running a little bit late. We got to take a really quick 2-minute break right here because we got to take a quick break. And we're going to talk about G20, G plus 20?
Rio Plus 20.
Rio Plus 20? I got to get all this straight, man. I know way too much now.
I know. It's hard to keep all the facts straight and what's going on around the world because so much is going on.
You know it. Make sure you get on YouTube, too. Spread and like what we're doing because the word is getting out there. Activism is winning, and we're back. Radio Free Canada. It's back again. We are carrying on an hour of happiness because it's Happy Friday, Fantastic Friday, fabulous. It is styling. I'm Darin Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
We are not naked right now, so stop picturing us standing in front of there naked. If you're one of the conservative trollers who's writing down everything that we say, we are not naked right now. Stop picturing that. You're just weird. And a shout out to our friends in Homeland Security. We have two words for you in Homeland Security: bomb parts.
Yes.
Okay, remember to write that down. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. That's a shout out for our friends at Homeland Security. Remember, we're going to, on Mock Harper Monday, we're also going to be giving out addresses to Monsanto's home office in Canada. So make sure you stay tuned for that one.
And we'll make sure we provide you with phone numbers for members of Parliament as well.
Yes, indeed. They're on their summer slough-off right now in major Canadian Commons. Of course, we were going to be keeping Mock Harper going and covering some serious issues. Police brutality coming up on Monday when we're on the courthouse steps, and we're going to be taking interviews and talking about police brutality coming up this Monday, July the 9th.
Yes.
So that's David Suzuki talked directly about Rio Plus 20, and this is interesting. Check this out.
The UN Conference on Sustainable Development, known as the Rio Plus 20 Earth Summit, has concluded with few successes to report. Negotiators unveiled an agreement that sets new development goals and lays the groundwork for future talks. Many groups working on environmental and poverty issues have criticized the agreement for being too weak. Greenpeace called it, quote, an epic failure. Politicians such as Nick Clegg of Britain called it, quote, insipid. And some protesters protested final text by ripping it up and renaming the summit Rio Minus 20.
The science is in. The planet is in terrible shape. And the difficulty is that meetings like this are doomed to fail because we see ourselves at the center of everything, and our political and our economic priorities have to dominate over everything else. If we don't come together and say, look, let's start with the agreement that we are biological creatures, and if you don't have air for more than 3 or 4 minutes, you're dead. If you don't have clean air, you're sick. So surely air, the atmosphere that provides us with the seasons, the weather, the climate, that has to be our highest priority. Before anything economic or political, that has to be the highest priority. But what you're getting is a huge gathering, as we saw in Copenhagen 2 years ago, a huge gathering of countries trying to negotiate something that doesn't belong to anyone through the lenses of all of the political boundaries and the economic priorities, and we try to shoehorn nature into our agenda, and it's simply not going to work. A meeting like this is doomed to fail because we haven't left our vested interests outside the door and come together as a single species and agreed what the fundamental needs are for all of humanity. So we're going to sacrifice the air, the water, the biodiversity, all in the sake of human political and economic interests. They're doomed.
And, you know, standing around doing nothing. Okay, so this is what they're saying is this UN sponsored program, Rio Plus 20, is just standing around saying whatever. And we're going to say politics and profit is more important than the entire planet.
Yes.
Okay, we're bankrupting the planet with money we made up from nowhere, but we're going to use the resources as fast as we can.
That's funny because Chris Hedges has just come out with a book called How Capitalism is Going to Kill Us All.
Really?
Yeah.
How capitalism is going to kill us all. Yeah. Capitalism, by the way, does work as a model until if you get rid of the top 2%. If you were to take the top 2%, take all of that wealth that gets sucked out of the system, put it into capitalism the way it's supposed to be done, we'd be fine. But fractional reserve lending, derivatives, nonsense in Wall Street, that's all combined together to show how corrupt a system that's originally designed to work doesn't work.
No, it does not.
We're going to talk about solutions. We're here for Fantastic Friday because it's really good to be part of the revolution, and that's a fact. We're going to take our quick 2.5-minute break right now. A great song from Bread, and we're going to be right back to talk about high-density farming, right?
More solutions. That's what we're about.
You know it. Such a good day today, too. If you got somebody, make sure you get up and dance because that's what you need to do.
Keep walking, keep on your toes, and don't stop talking.
Radio Free Canada right here. Truth and freedom right across the horizon, making sure that you're informed and motivated to get out there, make a sign, and make sure that the government and its corruptness gets overthrown appropriately and those people are held accountable who should be. Yes, indeed, a conscious revolution.
And another people who should be held accountable are people that ignore solutions.
Yeah, ignoring solutions. Those things that go unsaid. That is the problem. We just saw that they ripped away youth funding from the Aboriginal youth group right here in town. They axed a couple of people. They saved themselves $75,000 for what? So that we can pay for prisons that we don't need, pay for police that we sure don't require, pay for military weapons that just don't function.
Yeah, fighter jets that don't work.
And corporate tax cuts, too. Remember that you are paying for corporate tax cuts. We've got a program that we are bringing to City Hall to talk about aquaponics. And, of course, we've mentioned this more than 18 times. Not one phone call from one city councilor, not one phone call from the mayor about this. How could you be this uninformed? It's not like there's that many people out there talking about it. And what's going on, right?
Maybe we got to get the food bank to give them a call.
That might be an idea. We're going to be promoting jobs and fiscal responsibility right here in the Okanagan. And stay tuned because we're going to have some great segments coming up later on today and throughout the next weeks as we ramp up for September the 15th when we do our official launch right in downtown Kelowna. One of the things we're talking about?
Aquaponics.
You know it. It's a big thing. We've got a description on how it works, and let's just run this while we got time. It's Friday.
Controlled Environment Agriculture Center at the University of Arizona. Aquaponics innovates worldwide.
Growing algae to feed larval shrimp, you may be a lot more interested to have a lot of protein in the algae. So you may want to go back. Early in my career, I was involved with growing fish and irrigation systems here in Arizona to use for irrigation of field plants. And then I began looking at marine systems. We first started actually down in Puerto Penasco in Rocky Point, Mexico, of growing shrimp there and seaweeds and halophytes. Later on, I expanded that in developing countries where we can get poor fishermen, poor farmers into a more efficient and more economically beneficial situation where they make more money growing fish or shrimp than they would growing rice. In 2004, I was invited to go to Burma, Myanmar, to look at the aquaculture industry there and how we could look at tilapia hatcheries, shrimp hatcheries, and make them more sustainable. Shortly thereafter, the area, that region, was struck by the tsunami in December of 2004. A few months later, I went to Banda Aceh at the invitation of the government to help with the restoration of the aquaculture industry. And we wanted to work with the shrimp farmers and show them that by improving and replacing some of these mangroves, that they could actually improve the water quality and reduce the disease problems that they were having in their shrimp farms. Over many years, one of my collaborating institutions has been the Central Luzon State University in the Philippines. And one of the professors I knew from there, Dr. Chito Sase, was awarded a Fulbright scholarship, and he came here to work with us here at the University of Arizona, specifically on aquaponics. And aquaponics is a special case of integrating aquaculture with hydroponics, where we're growing vegetables, things like cabbage, lettuce, bok choy, in conjunction with fish. He found that by putting this freshwater shrimp into the hydroponic bed, he actually improved the growth of the hydroponic vegetables. It improved the water quality, and now we were getting a third crop out of this system.
So the more living organisms we will put to the system, I think it would add diversity and stability to the system.
One of the reasons I'm so keen on the aquaponic growing systems is that it's very instructive to traditional farmers When they walk into that greenhouse and we can pull up a floating board and they see all the roots suspended down in the water, and they realize the only fertilizer that this plant is getting is the waste from those fish. And it clicks with them that, wow, you can grow these plants and that there's plenty of fertilizer value in the waste from the fish to get this lettuce plant or bok choy to growing all the way to harvest size. The other thing that's instructive is the intensity. How we can grow so many fish, so many vegetables in such a small area with water that's just going in a circle. So the hydroponics and aquaponics is more labor intensive than field culture, but we're growing so much more in such a small footprint. What we need to do for the rest of the planet now is to model that so that we can feed the planet without trashing it.
Controlled Environment Agriculture Center at the University of Arizona.
So make sure that you get on there and get informed with what's going on with the Agri Center, and that's at University of Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay. We are going to present a little information pack for City Hall, and we're going to see how that one goes. However, while we've got a few minutes left in our broadcast, I want you to get informed about aquaponics, of course, but we're going to give you more information on that. But we got to make fun of Enbridge just one. We got to run this commercial just because we know Enbridge doesn't want us to, and because we're going to finish off Friday with a smile. Short broadcast today, but that's fine because we've got some special things coming up for you. Do you got us for us? Are you there?
I love the logo. I love the swooshing in sound, the logo. This tells them that we're a serious company. This is production value.
It's a path to prosperity. A path to thousands of jobs.
Is that supposed to happen? I don't think that's supposed to. That's okay. We'll clean this up. We'll be as good as new. There we go. Okay.
A path to thriving communities. A path to world-class safety standards and low environmental...
I'm sorry. My fault. I hit the wrong switch. I thought I was turning up the heat. I'm sorry.
Low environmental impact. A path that will increase trade, build global alliances, strengthen Canada's...
Does the pipe have a turn-off thing? Find the turn-off thing. We'll hit it with a hammer. Never mind. We'll go straight to the families. This is the strongest part anyway. This will sell it.
The Northern Gateway Pipeline. It's more than a pipeline. It's a path to our future.
You know, I don't think the animation is really up to our standards anyway, okay? Are the HST stick figures, are they still working? Somebody get in touch with them. We'll call it a wrap for now. Get in touch with them. We'll carry on tomorrow. Anybody into dinner? Some Chinese. They could do that thing with the duck and the oil.
And make sure you get informed about that one, man. That is so awesome.
Yes, says Dan Murphy from the province, who made fun of an animation that Enbridge had put out.
Yes, Enbridge is trying to sell their pipeline, saying that 500 jobs compares to 220,000 that would be created if we handled our oil correctly. We're done. That's it.
They're greenwashing so fast.
This is the hour, and that is the hour of power as we got things going right here at Radio Free Canada. Thanks for tuning in. Mock Harper Monday, and we're going to be dealing with police brutality coming up Monday, July the 9th and 10th. Those are going to be on location. Also, we're going to be looking forward to major grand openings coming up here September the 15th. I'm Darin Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
This has been Radio Free Canada's Solutions Show. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to leave you with a little bit of this. And our apologies to the network for running late. Thanks for bringing there. We'll be back Monday.